Hey there, and welcome to the Deep Dive. Great to have you with us.
Hello.
Today, we're getting into something well, fundamental communication skills.
Absolutely key.
But we're not just looking at what you say, we really want to dig into how you say it.
That's right. We've gone through a whole load of notes, insights, all compiled for you, focusing on making communication, sharper,
Hmm.
more impactful.
Exactly. And this deep dive, it's all about pulling out the really valuable stuff from these sources, stuff that can genuinely help you level up how you interact with people.
Whether that's at work or at home or just, getting your point across.
And we're really putting a spotlight on something maybe a bit underestimated, the power of your voice and your tone.
It's huge. And the source material really kicks off with a compelling point.
Yeah, it highlights that communication.
Yeah.
It's not just a skill. It's often called the #1 skill companies look for.
Across all industries. Think about that.
The single most sought-after skill. That really reframes it, doesn't it? Not just a soft skill.
Yeah. No, it's more like a superpower, really. For work and just for life. It unlocks doors, builds connections.
Helps you lead.
Hmm.
And the research explains why it's so vital. It's not just about getting things done efficiently.
But that's part of it, sure.
But fundamentally, good communication improves relationships, boosts your own confidence.
Yeah, feeling you can express yourself.
And it's absolutely essential for leadership. It's the bedrock of collaboration, of understanding.
But here's a key thing. The material really hammers home. Communication isn't just talking.
Not by a long shot, it's listening.
Actively listening.
Right. Understanding body language, nonverbal cues, mastering your tone, knowing when to speak, timing.
It's the whole package. The whole ecosystem, you could say.
And that's where the how you say something becomes so critical.
Mm-hmm. The notes give some powerful examples.
Yeah.
Like how just a simple misunderstanding purely based on tone.
Can completely scupper a deal or really damage a relationship.
Exactly. You could say the exact same words, but with a different tone.
And the outcome is totally different, worlds apart.
It's amazing how much emotional weight tone carries. Sometimes it even overshadows the literal words.
Like saying, okay. You could say it flat, maybe rising a bit like, okay, meaning I'm skeptical.
Right. Or you could say, okay, warm, falling slightly, meaning, yep, got it, I agree.
The word itself doesn't tell you that. Only the voice does.
And that's the fascinating part, isn't it? Why is tone so impactful? It seems to sort of bypass the logical brain bit.
And goes straight for the emotions, conveying attitude, intent.
Yeah, it's often what people really remember and react to. It colors everything.
Yeah.
Shapes how the message feels, not just what it means intellectually.
Okay, so given how crucial this how is, especially voice and tone, what can we actually do about it? What do the sources suggest?
Well, they break down effective communication into core techniques, building blocks,
Things like active listening,
clarity and brevity, keeping it concise.
nonverbal cues, confidence and tone,
Mhm.
and empathy. All vital.
Definitely. Yeah. But for this deep dive, let's really zoom in on that confidence and tone piece and the practical advice there.
Sounds good. What's the guidance?
It's quite insightful.
Yeah.
It says essentially, speak with conviction. You need to sound like you believe it for others to buy in.
Makes sense, but
But, and this is crucial, you also need to keep a calm and friendly demeanor in your voice.
that balance.
Uh,
Conviction without aggression, friendliness without sounding weak or uncertain. That
Yeah.
sounds tricky.
It can be. Does the material give hints on how to actually do that? How those qualities sound different?
It does get into the specifics of vocal delivery. First up, natural pacing.
Okay, so not sounding like a robot reading a script.
Exactly. Avoid that robotic rhythm. The sources say speak like you're having a real conversation, with pauses where they feel right.
Emphasis on certain words.
And just a general warmth in the voice.
Right, a bit like we're trying to do now. It feels more authentic, more engaging when it flows naturally.
You can sense the person is actually thinking and responding, not just reciting.
That natural rhythm just makes it easier for the listener to connect, to follow along.
Precisely. And linked very closely to that is varying your tone.
Ah, not being monotone.
Yeah. The notes point out that changing your pitch helps signal what's important. You might drop your tone a bit for serious points.
Okay, like when conveying something significant or sensitive.
Mm-hmm. And you'd naturally let your tone rise a bit for excitement, or maybe asking a question, drawing attention.
That vocal variety, it's
Or
like
the-
adding color and texture to what you're saying, isn't it?
Totally. Stops it being just a flat line that people tune out of.
It helps get across all those nuances, the emotions, the subtle stuff, Words alone can't quite capture, makes you more dynamic, keeps people hooked.
It really does. And here's a simple but powerful one the source mentions, directly hitting tone. Smiling.
Smiling,
Yeah.
even if they can't see you, like on a phone call.
Yeah. Or even with, say, some AI voices. The physical act of smiling actually changes the resonance, the quality of your voice.
That's incredible, but you can hear it, can't you? You can often tell if someone's smiling when they speak.
Absolutely. It instantly adds warmth, friendliness, creates this subtle connection.
Makes people more receptive, maybe.
Yeah.
Builds a bit of trust even before you get into the main message.
Definitely. And speaking of things you can hear that impact meaning, the sources also talk about pauses, strategic pausing.
Right, not just awkward silence, but using pauses deliberately.
Exactly. A well-timed pause, the source argues, it doesn't just give you a moment to breathe, it gives your words more weight.
And gives the listener time to actually absorb what you just said. That's crucial.
That silence can be really powerful. Instead of just rushing on, pausing after a key idea lets it land.
It signals, hey, pay attention. This bit matters. Gives the brain a moment to process.
It feels confident, too. Deliberate, not like you're lost or unsure. Shows you respect the listener needs to keep up.
Yeah, it shifts the focus from just like transmitting information.
To making sure it's actually received and understood. It's about effectiveness on their end, not just yours.
Okay, so let's think about putting these into practice. The source material mentions scenarios, like a team leader sorting out a conflict.
Ah, yes, the real-world test, where these skills become essential tools, not just ideas.
And the material explains how tone, empathy, active listening, they're key to resolving that kind of thing well. So what kind of tone is needed there?
According to the guidance, calm, confident, showing composure, authority, but also friendly and approachable.
Right. Not taking sides, not getting drawn into the heat of it.
But setting a tone of respectful problem solving.
Exactly. That calm, confident, friendly tone helps de-escalate things right away. Then empathy comes in.
Really showing you understand both sides' feelings and perspectives.
Even if you don't agree with them, just acknowledging their emotional state, validating their experience, that helps people feel heard.
Which is often the first step to finding a way forward.
And active listening kind of holds it all together, fully focusing, asking clarifying questions without judgment.
Reflecting back what you hear to make sure you've got it right.
Ensures the leader truly gets the root of the problem from all angles, not just the surface stuff.
You can see how they all work together. Without active listening, you miss things. Without empathy, people shut down.
And without the right tone, you could just make it all worse.
It really highlights the opposite of what not to do, interrupting, using jargon, being aggressive or dismissive.
That's showing zero empathy.
Yeah.
You can see how that would just escalate the conflict, destroy trust.
Okay, so we get the importance, we have some techniques, we see how they apply, but knowing isn't the same as doing. How do we actually get better? Practice.
The sources offer some really practical tips for that, daily improvement stuff.
Like what?
Some are pretty straightforward. Just consciously practicing, speaking slowly and clearly.
Okay.
It even suggests practicing in front of a mirror. This feels weird at
It
first,
definitely feels weird.
but it helps you see your nonverbals. And importantly, helps you hear yourself more objectively.
And this is a big one, tying right back to voice and tone. The source material strongly recommends recording yourself speaking.
Ah, the dreaded recording, but so useful.
It's often uncomfortable, isn't it? You think you know how you sound.
I mean, you hear it back. It's objective feedback. You can really analyze your tone. Is it warm, confident when you want it to be, varied, monotone?
Check your clarity, your pacing, pronunciation. It's direct feedback you just can't get any other way.
It takes a bit of courage, maybe, to hit record and listen, honestly. But the sources really push it as one of the best ways to spot vocal habits you don't even realize you have.
Like trailing off at the end of sentences, or speeding up when nervous.
Or maybe sounding more hesitant than you actually feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. The material also suggests reading aloud from books, articles.
How does that help specifically?
It builds fluency, gets you comfortable with different rhythms and sentence structures, gets you used to projecting your voice consistently.
Makes sense. And for feedback beyond just yourself.
The sources mention things like public speaking groups, Toastmasters perhaps, or even using AI tools now.
AI tools for voice feedback.
Yeah, some can apparently simulate feedback or analyze vocal patterns. It's fascinating how tech is helping with these really human skills.
Just gives you more ways to get that practice and feedback you need to improve deliberately.
Now, Obviously, we're not always talking face-to-face anymore.
Right.
The sources also look at communication in the digital world.
Right. Email, voice notes, social media, endless video calls.
And the good news, the core principles still apply. Clarity, considering the other person, conveying the right tone, still crucial, even if the medium's different.
But text tone is just so tricky, isn't it? The source material points out, quite rightly, that written words have no immediate vocal tone.
Which is why you always need to reread that email or text before hitting send. Check, is the tone the tone that might be perceived.
Absolutely, because without your voice carrying the nuance, other things step in as substitute.
Like emojis, punctuation.
Exactly. Emojis, punctuation, capitalization, even how long or short your message is. They all shape how your mood comes across.
A simple period can make things sound abrupt or cold. An exclamation mark or an emoji totally changes the feeling, adds back some of that missing vocal color.
It's like we're constantly finding little ways to inject tone into a medium that lacks it. And for video calls,
The sources remind us about the digital nonverbals. Eye contact, looking at the camera lens mostly,
so it feels like you're looking at the person, yeah.
and eliminating distractions around you, in your background.
These become the digital versions of showing you're engaged, present. Builds trust, connection.
Just like vocal warmth or good body language does in person, helps the other person feel they have your full attention. Critical for respect, no matter the platform.
So bringing this all back to you, listening right now,
Yeah.
applying these specific insights about your voice and tone.
Your pacing, your warmth, your variety, using those pauses.
It can directly impact literally every interaction you have. Asking for a raise, sorting out a disagreement, connecting with a friend, giving a presentation.
Even just leaving a voicemail.
These aren't just abstract ideas. They are actionable steps you can take, starting today, to be a more effective communicator.
Think about that meeting you've got coming up or that important chat you need to have. What's one small tweak to how you sound that can make a positive difference?
Okay, let's start to wrap up this deep dive. The source material really makes a strong case. Mastering communication, especially the nuances of voice and tone, it's a skill that genuinely opens doors, empowers you.
We really encourage you to reflect on these points. Think about the role your voice plays every day and how others might be receiving your message. The whole message, not just the words.
And here's a final thought for you to maybe mull over this week. It builds on that idea from the source. Communication as your superpower.
Okay.
If your voice is a key part of wielding that superpower effectively, what's just one small adjustment you could make to your tone or maybe your pacing that can make the biggest positive difference in your very next important conversation?
Just one thing. Maybe aiming for a bit more warmth. Or using one strategic pause consciously.
Yeah. Pick one thing. Give it a try.
See what happens.
Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive.
We hope these insights from the source material help you become an even more effective and confident communicator.